to control flow. So this is a way to make decisions and repeat instructions in a computer. So let's just make a variable. So x is 8, and based on this number it will execute one block of code or the other block of code. So if x is smaller than 5, we could say like the number is smaller, and it's a block of code, so you can have multiple lines. And what if it's bigger? So then you would have the other block of code. And this is also a block, so you can have multiple lines of code. So if you'd run this program, it will execute either this block of code or this block of code, depending on the input variable. And the condition is written here. So this concept is known as an if statement. If you run this, you'll see it's greater than 5, so it will say x is greater than 5, so skip this. It goes into the else and executes this block of code. Now if you change this to a number smaller than 5, so let's say 3, and you'd run this, it will execute the first block of code. So it will say x is 3, smaller than 5, so run this block of code. So that's an if statement. There are also loops, and loops help you to repeat. So let's say you have a number of items, and you want to show each of those items. So then you can write for product in products, product. So this will go over each element and show the item. So run this and you'll see all these elements. You can have a block of code in here, so depending on what you want to do, but you'll see it goes over each item in the list separately and executes a block of code for that. So that concept is known as a for loop, and you can also do that with numbers. And so output it like this, and you'll see it counts from 0 to 3. You can specify a starting and ending number, so it will count from 1 to 10. And of course this is a block of code, so you can have several items in here, so several lines of code can be in this loop. There's also a while loop, which will repeat code until the condition is true. So let's say we want a specific number, so while it's not, let's say our lucky number 7, we want to guess the number. So that will repeat on and on until the condition is true. So a while loop you will use if you're not sure how many times this loop should be repeated, which is different than for loop, in which you know exactly how many times the code should be repeated. So let's go for the while loop, and we have to define initial x and run this. So let's say we type some numbers. It keeps repeating this block of code because the condition is not true. So you can go on and on until we make the condition true. And in this case you'll see it doesn't actually stop yet. because what we get is text or a string, so that needs to be a number, so an integer. So let's do it again. You can type some numbers here, and if you type the right number, it actually stops. So sometimes it's important to check which variable type you have, which can be text, it can be numeric, which is an integer, or it can be a number with a comma, which is known as floating point. So at times you can have a small error like that, and you'd have to convert to the right data type. Now there's also the try except method, so it will try to do something and it will throw an error if something went wrong. So if you run this, you'll see it goes in the second block because you can't divide 1 by 0. So the try except statement, you can try to run a block of code, and if something's wrong, you can actually catch the error and then continue in a way that the user expects.